Hey guys, Marvin and Kid here. How's everybody doing on their end? Back again for the next reviews. This is the DC side of this week's poll for the week of the 15th, right? Yeah. If you go back, you'll probably see a card or so somewhere that'll show the review for uh, the book for my indie books. So, like I said, I'm gonna break this episode up. Sad news, guys. Sad news. Mr. Orpheus will not be making it this time around. Family issues are having a lot of problems with his family. In the sixth dimension. So we're not gonna have him. He's not gonna come by and lend his voice for you guys. But he promises he will be for episode 180. He will definitely be here for that one. So I got to do it by myself. Uh, it's okay. But I'm gonna talk about all the DC. I had this week. I had 9 DC books. And let's just begin real quick, shall we? We're gonna start off with the Adventures of Supergirl, number 5. This is chapter 10 in this story. It's entitled "Who is Facet?" Uh, Facet? Wait a minute. Make sure I get it right. Facet, yeah, Facet. Basically, in this story, we get to figure out who has been maybe orchestrating everything that's been going on with Kara. All these individuals who've been coming after Kara. We get an indication of who it is, and we also get an indication that who this person was, thanks to the holographic image of Kara's mother telling her who this character was, and we find out she was on Fort Ross. She was actually kind of, you can say, she was like the security warden there, and she was a badass. Like, nobody, there was a reason why nobody ever escaped from Fort Ross because of her. And that's mainly the gist of this. You know, you get to see who this woman is. She's a living diamond, basically. Her body is completely made of diamond, and she really, really goes that distance of making that distance of making a hero's life a living hell. You ever heard that, where you start messing with that hero's loved ones? Yeah, this is in this. This was very good, and the artwork by Stags, I believe, was really good. I enjoyed it very much. Adventures of Supergirl, number 5. All right, let's move on to Batman number 2. Tom King and David Fincher's artwork. Okay, um, we're getting a little bit more indication of who Gotham and Gotham Girl are. In the beginning of this issue, we actually see them fighting Solomon Grundy, and he's saying all his famous lines. And Batman is watching him, watching the fight until Batman kind of intervenes in the fight, and he basically tells him, like, you guys are good, but you should have had this over real quick. And it was just like, Batman, like, come on, Bruce, like. But he's starting to realize that with Gotham and Gotham Girl, they are super powered heroes of Gotham, and he brings him into the fold. Kind of, he actually helps him. They introduce the duo to Jim Gordon, and there's a line in here that just really indicate, have they literally kind of abolished that Jim Gordon was Batman? Because in this issue alone, he says something just like, wait a minute, Jim, you know how that felt like. And I'm just like, yeah, wait a minute. Um, but it's the ending that really catches me, and I'm just like, oh my god, this motherfucker's back. And then even not just him, but that bitch is back too. So it's like, whatever. All right, let's move on to, yeah, you see this, the Flintstones. Number 1. This is Russell and Pug. Um, I was telling my brother this when I was reading this. I was telling him, I was like, you gotta, with these like Hanna-Barbera comics, you gotta put out kind of the memory of what you know about, the Flintstones and some of these characters. In this is kind of taking Flintstones a little bit mature. They go there. For example, they look a lot different. First of all, Fred is not, fat Fred, like you see, kind of stubby. Barney is almost just as big as he is. They really gone to that caveman mentality. Wilma, freaking hot. I was like, whoa, Wilma's hot. And it's like, Mr. Slate was pretty buffed up. I'm like, whoa. Um, it kind of is cool because it starts off with Fred is employee of the month at Slate, Industries, and Mr. Slate wants him to show some new men the ropes. I think they're Cro-Mad man. They're not Neanderthals. He called them Neanderthals. He's like, no, we're not Neanderthals. Uh, Wilma she's selling her paintings, her fan prints. Um, they go there with a lot of stuff, like, for example, a cell phone. You got shell phone. I was like, how is this getting reception? But it's stuff like that that made the Flintstones great. They keep the elements of what made the original series one of the longest running American animated cartoons ever. Fun, and they still keep it in this, but it just gets a little bit more mature. But it was good. I didn't hate it. I mean, they went deep. Like Fred and Barney are ex-soldiers. Like they were in a war together. I'm like, wow, they are really kind of giving us more of a different take for Fred and Barney. Betty is in it. You don't see her too much, but you just see her and Wilma trying on dresses for her painting gallery. We don't see Pebbles yet. We don't see Pebbles. That's who I'm looking for to see. But other than that, the Flintstones, this was not bad. I'm a big Flintstones fan. I love the Flintstones. I will always, anytime they come on Boomerang, I'm right there watching it. I love the Flintstones, but I wasn't hesitant to picking this up. I was like, I'm gonna read this. When that show, who was, what Hanna-Barbera cartoons were getting, I instantly looked at the Flintstones. I was like, I'm in. I'm in. But this was not bad. Not bad at all. Oh my God. Future Quest. #2. Oh my God. Parker, Mr. Parker. Thank you for this was great. It gave us more of an indication of what went down in the first issue and why. I'm not going to spoil too much, but I'm going to spoil who we see in this book. Of course, we see Space Ghost. Of course, we see Johnny Quest. Of course, we see Birdman. But we get to see the Herculoids. We get to see the Galaxy Trio. And we got to see that fucking monkey blip. I was like, oh, he's in this shit. But we get to see what went down and at that last issue. And sad to say, there was no fight between Space Ghost and, I'm gonna spoil this for no fight between Space Ghost and Birdman. But Johnny and Haji find Jan, and she's unconscious and things like that. And Fear and Dr. Zin are after Space Ghost ship and things like that. This was really good. Very, very good. And I'm looking forward to more. Not going to ruin anymore. This was great. Thank you, Mr. Parker, for this. And I think I just went out of freaking order with. I'm sorry, guys. I usually go in alphabetical order. I went out. I was supposed to talk about this first. Aquaman #2. Abinant, and I think this is Scott Eaton's doing the artwork. 50% of this book is just a fight between these two and kind of witty banter back and forth. Why is Black Manta doing this? because Arthur killed his dad out of rage of his father's death. And Manta wants payback for that. He wants a little payback, and so he's willing to cost Arthur everything. Once again, more of the generals, of that follow Arthur, are, they don't like the surface dwellers and blah blah blah. Little bigotry and little racism, between the Atlanteans and this. But most of this was just pretty much a fight, and I like how it ended in a sense, because you think, oh, haha, Arthur comes out on top, the hero, da 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 da. But no, it comes out more of, I can't spoil that because it was really interesting, but I'm gonna tell you one thing. Fucking bitch. Stupid Amanda Waller. Yeah, she's in it. Alright, let's move on to Green Arrow number 2. Alright, Percy, okay, you got me hooked with this, and it makes me wonder. Basically, what happened in the last issue was fucked up. Ollie's own sister, along with Shadow, nearly killed Ollie. They threw him overboard. Ollie's whole world is turned upside down in this issue, and it's almost as if he's basically considered dead by society. So it's almost like he has to be the Green Arrow 24/7. Though Dinah knows something is up, and it has something to do with Ollie's former partner, who was, bringing all this stuff to Seattle, happen. And we get the indication of who these people may be, or more of who Shadow and Amy is working for. I'm not going to ruin that, but this was good. Not bad. Alright. We move on to Green Lanterns number 2. Oh, man. Yeah, this was touching, but good at the same time. The Red Lanterns have made their move. The young rookie team of Green Lanterns are trying to deal with this obsessive infection of rage, and it gets so bad to the point it has affected Jessica's sister, and she is trying her best to understand and trying to save her sister. And that's pretty much the main gist of it. But she kind of gets over her head because Simon has to tell her, like, your sister, you can't just think of just your sister. You got to think of the whole world. And as a Green Lantern, you can't just be selfish about yourself. And I thought that was really good. But it also goes more into detail of why, Simon, is still dealing with the Emerald site, but also why was Jessica chosen? Justice League Rebirth, number 1, Hitch. The basis of this is basically what I thought it was going to be. The team dealing with a threat, and they are very skeptical of bringing in our Superman, because it's not the Superman that they know. It's not the Superman that Diana fell in love with, everything like that. And they're like, well, Bruce, can you trust him? And Bruce, like, it's like, I don't trust anybody. But that's pretty much what the gist of this was, is the fact that this is Superman. He joins the team. Not bad at all. And the last DC book is none other than Superman number 2. Very touching. Tomase. Very touching. And big ups to Tomase for having Clark and Jonathan deal with Starrio. I was like, is that Starrio? Okay. But it's basically Clark bringing his son out to help him. You get to see Jonathan in this kind of the suit that he's going to be wearing in Super Sons. He's still dealing with adjusting with his powers and his heat vision and things like that. And Clark is just guiding his son. Just this is how you do it. Things like that. And still, there's a lot of pain and a lot of bit of anguish and a lot of regret and fear for Jonathan because he's scared that he's gonna hurt somebody. And there's the vibe. I love the young, the Superman Lana Lang vibe in this that we get. And at the end, really, Mr. Tomasi, you're going there. When I saw who was at the end of that issue, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. But other than that, guys, that is all the DC that I got this week, or I should say last week or whenever this goes up. I'll be back for the last part, which will be 179.2. Yeah. And it'll be all Marvel. And I have the Marvel here, and I'll show you what it is and what you'll expect. So you're going to expect Amazing Spider-Man number 15 or 700 something. Captain America Sam Wilson number 11. Star Wars Han Solo number 2. Invincible Iron Man number 11. Moon Knight number 4. Scarlet Witch number 8. Spidey number 8. Spider-Man 2099 number 12. Spider-Woman number 9. And Total Awesome Hulk number 8. So those will be all the books DC books, Marvel books you will expect on the last part of this review. But other than that, guys, I love you guys. Take care. Keep reading. Don't stop reading. I'm out, guys.